Right, Professor Parimala now for an
So I sort of backtracked Raghunathan's lecture. I will speak in a more subdued note, but maybe his slides are a starting point for my talk. So, in some sense, I mean, okay, one thing I should apologize, I don't have the blackboard to take refuge on, so this is something I have to apologize for in case I didn't prepare slides, so I'll try to say whatever few things I wanted to say, though there are some better people in the audience who could have spoken more about what is happening in India on the topic of women in mathematics. Okay, maybe venerable mathematician to mention at the beginning of this talk, which will also explain the kind of difficulties faced by women mathematicians over 100 years, for instance, is NIO. Maybe most of you know these stories, the story of her career, contributions and so on. Maybe I mentioned briefly. She was at Göttingen at a period when Göttingen was the center of mathematics in its pinnacle. Mathematicians like Hilbert were around her, and realizing how good she was, Hilbert tried to get a position for her as a faculty at Göttingen, but he failed because women cannot enter a faculty position in a German university. I mean, this was the position in the early 1900s. It's not a long time ago, but it just happened. And in fact, this exclamation from Hilbert is a very famous quote. Why gender matters at all, hiring at a university and not a bathhouse. It's a very famous quote from Hilbert. However, I mean, maybe I'll just say a few words on her impact on mathematicians and physicists. She was in some sense some kind of founder of modern algebra. There were several names attached to her, like Noetherian rings, the kind of her contributions to ideal theory, and the theory of finite groups, representation theory of finite groups, first time linking it to non-commutative algebras and their structures, from number theory, the so-called Hasse-Brouwer-Noether Albert theorem on Brouwer groups of number fields, and invariant theory of group actions. This is the so-called Noether problem, which later on was found to have a negative solution. And of course, I will not talk much about the famous Noether's theorem in physics. They talk about it at a great influence. And this is the kind of impact she had. And one thing I'd like to say is to mention her as one of the greatest women mathematicians. Women mathematicians, I think, it says how people want to sort of patronize, in some sense, excellence. Finally, she landed in Bryn Mawr College in the United States, thanks to the efforts of Einstein. Apparently, she was a mathematical mentor for him. And Hermann Weyl was at the Institute for Advanced Study at that time. Well, I'll not go on about her, but this really pinpoints that just 100 years ago, since there has been a gender gap and gender discrimination openly in universities all over the world. And perhaps in the last 100 years, or even last 50 years, there has been a big recognition of this problem. And several things have been, that's probably what I mentioned today, the efforts in the direction of bridging this gender gap and gender discrimination. This is not something to look at cynically, saying it's not a sort of quota system we are advocating. It is just to recognize, recruit, retain, and so on, good women mathematicians, a rich source for mathematics. And we should explore every possibility in this direction. Okay, maybe I will just say over the 100 years there are some certain pinnacles of achievements by women mathematicians. First, this first Fields Medal in 2014 Mariam Mirzakhani, and this was the first ever Fields Medal to a woman mathematician. As Raghunathan mentioned, this is one of the biggest awards in mathematics. And in 2019, the first woman to receive Nobel Prize in Mathematics, Karen Uhlenbeck. And in 2011 to 14, the first woman president of the International Mathematical Union. These are all the firsts of some kind of outstanding sense, Ingrid Dodges. Okay, so at this point, I just want to point out, as Raman said, some of the best recognitions for a mathematician are to speak at an International Congress of Mathematicians. In fact, Emmy Noether was invited to give a plenary talk in 1932 Congress. Between 1932 and 1990, when Karen Uhlenbeck was asked to give a plenary talk, during a period of about maybe 60 years, there was not a single woman speaker as a plenary mathematician in any of the international congresses subsequently. Okay, but since I have mentioned this, the big achievements by mathematicians in the last 2 decades, I think there is no need for complacence. There are still things to do and things to take care of in terms of getting women students into higher studies in mathematics, placement, hirings, retention, problems at all levels in a career traditionally perceived as a male occupation, with historical discouragement of women entering into profession as late as 90s. I'll just give a personal anecdote. So I was a young mathematician at that time, in 83, at Oberwolfach, when a German professor by name Becker, he called me aside and said, I want to discuss with you something about your career. I said, I was a bit surprised. And actually at that time I was young and I never had any recognition of problems or gender issues. I was not too exposed to various things happening in the West. So I asked him, yeah, what is the point? And he said that, did you face any difficulties entering into this profession or coming up to do research or getting a position? I said, I never thought about these questions so far. He said, this was totally shocking for me. I never heard it before. If a young master's student comes to a faculty in his department to find out about pursuing higher studies in mathematics, the professor's standard reaction would be, do not waste your time. There is no career path for you. This was in the 80s. Please go get married and be happy. This is the usual response of a German professor to a youngster who would like to continue a young woman aspirant of mathematics. This is the response. So there are serious issues. Of course, things have come a long way. So, so the next few minutes, I have very little time, so I want to, so as I said, up to a point of my career, I never thought of this issue, and I came to be acquainted with certain issues, and gradually I came to understand there are genuine problems around. So I will mention some of the initiatives that have been going on and in different directions to rectify this age-old gender bias. So first, let me give you one instance, but this is not the only initiative, but which sort of impressed me. This is an initiative called the Women and Mathematics Initiative at the Institute for Advanced Study, Princeton, and it is pioneered by Karen Uhlenbeck and her efforts. Okay, let me read out the mission statement in their website. Recruit and retain more women in mathematics, counter the imbalance in the number of men and women entering mathematics training, as well as higher attrition rate of female mathematicians compared to male counterparts at every critical stage of mathematical career. Third, encourage female mathematicians to form collaborative research relationships. Vertical mentoring network spanning a continuum from graduate students to emeritus professors, reducing the sense of isolation experienced by several women mathematicians. I will just come back to this point soon. So, in fact, this Women in Mathematics initiative was awarded the Program That Makes a Difference award by the American Math Society. Well, okay, things have been thought about carefully, very in depth, and many initiatives are in force. But I was also asked, maybe I could just collect some statistics where we are lagging in India in terms of strength of women in mathematics. Yesterday I just went through the websites of some institutions in where there is a mathematics faculty. I started with TIFA, which is of which I am an alumnus. There are 26 faculty at present and 1 woman mathematician. IAC, I just talked to Gadadhar, 28 faculty, out of which there are 2 women mathematicians on the faculty, and Institute of Mathematical Sciences, 15, out of which 3 are women mathematicians, and HR, the Harishchandra Research Institute, 12 faculty, out of which 2 women mathematicians. I am not saying the numbers should be different or any such suggestion at all, but we need to work at a different stage of getting more girls to enter into this challenging profession. Profession is challenging, acutely competitive. Okay, so we cannot start at the top, but we have to start at a grassroots level and make more women compete for these positions. Okay, so first, I just mentioned some steps which could be effective. I'm not very sure what I say is right, but let me just mention. Okay, the first. So, celebrating the achievements of women mathematicians and creating role models. This may serve as an inspiration for young girls who think about starting a career in higher mathematics. This is a very, very important point. So if you look at the Women and Mathematics website at the Institute for Advanced Study, they have a news page where they just highlight the achievements and awards, some of the awards for women mathematicians who were received, like the Abel Prize for Ullenbeck and so on. And I'm not sure, perhaps it's done here, but I'm not sure it is done enough. So this is not for the advantage of the person who wins these accolades, it's for the advantage of young people who want to emulate and want to get into this profession. So for instance, this year I would like to say I'm very proud to see the current Bhatnagar awardee in mathematical sciences, the name Neena Gupta. Several of you might have heard her, one of the youngest recipients of the prize, and she solved a several decades old open problem. She solved in the negative, namely cancellation problem for affine spaces. And this is really was the talk of the mathematicians and mathematicians over the world for a while when these examples emerged. And in fact, I think it is an occasion to celebrate. Okay, another Indian initiative which I think is an excellent step towards advertising the status of women in science and mathematics. This is the book published in the Indian Academy of Sciences with editors Rohini Gorbale and Ram Ramaswamy. So this Leelavati's daughters, and in fact this indeed has highlighted to the world the kind of science which is done in India. Okay, and maybe few minutes I start. Okay, and also there could be some recognitions for women mathematicians, like for instance, the American Mathematical Society has a Satter Prize for Mathematics. You may say, why only women mathematicians, separate prize? But when you look at the awardees of Satter Prize, they're all outstanding mathematicians. It is just to highlight the achievements. And also there is an Emmy Noether special lecture, both at the International Mathematical Union. Why not in India, in the academies or some other fora, some celebrated name lectures. And of course this networking and focused research mentoring and so on, there is a lot of effort all over the world, and also from the Indian Association for Women in Mathematics. Riddhi is here, she told me several great efforts like that. In fact, there are 2 meetings. There are every year an annual meeting, and they have now a distinguished visitors program which is taking off very well, bringing in women mathematicians to give talks. and also some young women mentoring workshops. Excellent efforts. I mean, first of all, we have to understand things need to be done to get good girl students into mathematics. We have vast potential, as Rao mentioned in his yesterday's talk. There are lots of young girls in the not probably urban but rural areas who could be attracted into a profession, and they may be high performers. We may just recognize deep strengths in them. And most importantly also, probably there is some kind of a conscientious effort to make rules, like the government funded agencies in America, the NSF, to have certain representation of women in various decision making bodies. This has increased the presence of women in America in a very successful way, and I don't know of any initiative in this direction in this country. Probably it's not a bad idea to try this out. And perhaps also needless to say, keep track of helping enable women in their working conditions, like the child care or maybe spouse hiring, and retention and flexible positions soon after graduation for women to take care of these gender issues. These are all probably things we have initiatives, but more needs to be done, and on a continuous basis